Make it a better place, a better place.
Be able to work together to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of love.
Let's arise and build, arise and build, arise and build our Bible to the next level.
The world of today is different from yesterday.
I'm running my own company. I use Nigeria. Industrialization is a practical process.
We want you to invest in the company.
There are very little things you can do and achieve so much.
So just mentor them.
We are more about
To build this nation, it's by thinking differently. It's by reasoning together. It's by working together as one.
So there's you must innovate or die. Come to our pride from state.
Tell each other the truth.
I am ready to be part.
Let's arise and reason together to build a new and better Bible and greater Nigeria and Africa and land. That's what podium of leadership is all about. Let's arise and build, arise and build, a better place, arise and build a Bible to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome your host to the podium of leadership, Dr. Victor Udo.
Welcome to the podium of leadership. Today's program, we have two guests that are going to help us talk about capacity building, especially in media. We have a very experienced gentleman here. You know, like I've always said, you don't have to be a commissioner. You don't have to be a CEO of a big company to be a leader. Every one of us is born to be a leader in our little or big ways. This gentleman, Mr. Charles BASSEY Silas, is a broadcast journalist. He's a public affairs communication consultant to the European Union project of media for development. And he has a lot of experience, a lot of exposure. His dad was a diplomat for this country, being different countries. Actually, he was raised up in a foreign country, Uganda, India, someone that has been exposed. And so he has some good experience to share with us today. We also have a lawyer of great repute, Ms. Roslyn Ikechi, who is a motivational speaker and human resource consultant. You know, we have a lot of different people in the audience today, how you want to grow your little businesses or how you want to know what is going on in the media world. So these two guests are going to interact with you today and help us to do whatever we are doing much better than we are doing. So once again, welcome to the podium of leadership.
The secret of making that house you dream home is in Reagan Home and Kitchen. A giant in importation, wholesale and retail of all kinds of foreign products, appliances and decor for your home, including fashion accessories. We stock amazing kitchen utensils of world-class standard. Let's thrill you with our state-of-the-art dining pieces, cutleries and lots more. That's not all. At Reagan Home and Kitchen, we guarantee impeccable service delivery. You can now landscape and beautify your field and surroundings with synthetic grass of your choice from Reagan Home and Kitchen. Visit us today at Oron Road by Odotumobo Junction, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. You can call us on 0802-338-3343, 0909 074-4621. Our email reganistic@yahoo.com. Reagan Home and Kitchen. Quality beyond imagination.
Tell me, how do we take a quiet home to the next level? How do I build this nation?
Do you want to see beyond your vision? Do you want to hear what other people think about leadership? Do you need a reshaping of your mindset and mentorship? Then tune in to the podium of leadership, the POL with Victor Udo, showing on AKBC channel 45 every Monday by 12:30 p.m. and on NTA channel 12 Uyo every Thursday by 10 p.m. tuned to the POL on Atlantic FM every Tuesday by 6:30 p.m. on Planet FM every Wednesday by 3 p.m. and on Inspiration FM every Saturday by 12:30 p.m. You can be a guest on this program. You can also advertise your product, goods and services, or sponsor the program by calling our office line 0902 300 7299. That is 0902 300 7299. Visit our website on www.thepol.com.ng. Like our page on facebook.com/The Podium of Leadership, or follow us on our Twitter handle at The Pol with Victor. The Podium of Leadership do show. Join us.
If you are watching us on the TV or listening to us on the radio, please send us an SMS on 0902 300 7299. 0902 300 7299. If you have anything about leadership, if you have any idea of how you want us to take this great state, this great country to the next level, anytime, you are welcome on the Podium of Leadership. So today, let's just listen to Mr. BASSEY and interact with him, Mr. Charles BASSEY Silas and Barrister Roslyn Nkechi. Whatever question you have, however you want to do what you are doing better, this gentleman and lady are rare and able and willing to help. Let's start with Mr. Silas. Please, Mr. Silas, tell the Akwa people and audience anything you want us to know about you.
Well, thank you so very much. Like it was earlier said, my name is Charles BASSEY Silas. Just like broadcast journalism, we always want you to refer to yourself with two nomenclatures. Charles BASSEY Silas are my three names, but I'm usually known as Charles BASSEY. Primarily, I work for Radio Nigeria, and before then had been in NTA, and it's a long journey in between. Several radio and television stations that I've worked in within the last 24 years. I cut my tooth in AKBC here in Akwa Ibom State. And of course, I'm proud to have started from here because when I went out, I turned out to be one of the very best. I stood out wherever I was. Having gotten my training, particularly from the NTA, after I had a short stint with AKBC, I was a beneficiary to some of the trainings NTA offered. And when I left NTA, I went for what people would call greener pastures. The broadcast media was getting digitalized. I wanted to go away from pneumatic cameras. I wanted to go away from analog editing to linear editing and all of that. I left for Lagos and I joined Dyer Communications, AIT. And not too long after then, there was a problem with AIT initially when they closed because of challenges they had with the banks and all of that. Two-thing problems which they had then. Many people didn't have where to go. But because, like I said, I'm proud of it. I was one of the very best at the time. I had to leave and found somewhere. Immediately I left there, I got into MITV in Lagos. And while in MITV, somebody said to me, we need people like you in Lagos television. But the problem is that you are not from Lagos State. And Lagos State, you know that if you're not from Yoruba angle, even Lagos State, Tiwantiwa, like they would tell you, you can't get in there. But lo and behold, I got into Lagos television on merit. I started as an independent producer. Not too long after becoming an independent producer, I was picked to say, look, wait a minute, your program has ended because you didn't have money to pay for the airtime. Management has succeeded in giving you an extended airtime free. Let's partner. From the partnership, I became a staff of LTV and the first Akwa Ibomite to be employed in Lagos television. You can't be a non-indigenous and be employed there. So it's a Tiwantiwa thing. Of course, for some time, nobody knew I was from Akwa Ibom. I was always speaking Yoruba. I speak 7 languages.
Wow. And
I'm well-traveled. My father is a retired diplomat. I did my primary school in Kampala, Uganda. The knowledge I got there and exposure helped me a lot in lots of my career. I also been in the United Kingdom. I've also visited Ghana, Cairo, Egypt. And those exposures there had given me an edge. I did international law and diplomacy, but today I'm a broadcast journalist. So you don't need to be limited about what you study. What you study does not make you exactly what you are. Recession or no recession. There was a time everybody was going to do banking and finance because when you come out, there's one bank that will give you a car and all of that. Wonder banks all over the place. Not too long, the banks crashed and everybody was now looking for jobs. Then those who were now getting out of school were competing with the older ones on ground who were laid off and nobody was getting jobs. But those who were smart, who had good exposure, those who were entrepreneurially driven, had a way out. And I think I'm one of such persons. So today I'm glad to be in your midst. And I know that in our interaction, we'll be able to have something we'll learn from one another.
Now, before I turn over to Barrister Roslyn, tell us a little bit about the media for development part of your work. How do we leverage media for development activity at the grassroots level, and what some of us in the audience are doing?
Interesting. Thank you so very much. We interestingly are in the communication age, information age. Those who are scholars will know that we were in the Stone Age. We moved on to the Iron Age, and from the Iron Age you moved on to the Jet Age. From the Jet Age you moved to the Industrial Age, then Computer Age. I think we're presently in the information age. Man cannot not communicate. So you must eat every day. So if you sell food, you can't stay without selling. You must communicate every day. So if you have something to do with communication, you can't go hungry. So I said to myself, let me leverage on that. Now the European Union uses information and communication as a tool for development. I happen to be a consultant under the Institute for Media and Society. We supervise European Union projects. Now the militancy in the Niger Delta came to a halt gradually, momentarily after the amnesty. But there was a problem. There were packets of skirmishes here and there, which went on to say that all the arms that were turning were not the right arms, number of arms that the militants held. So there was a problem, and it was believed that we might go back to the dark days of conflict. So the European Union wanted to know, how will we come and invest there? So they now asked the EU to look for NGOs that could do this, and some consultants. We had a meeting. An Institute for Media and Society and Search for Common Ground came up and said, look, the people go into violence in the Niger Delta because they don't have a voice. We have NNPC, Shell, NNPC, ELF, NNPC, something, something. And when there's a pipeline breakage, when there's a breach in the MOUs with the oil companies, they don't know what to do. They can't talk. You go to government media or state-owned media, they won't want to carry your story because nobody wants to lose his job, rightly or wrongly. You go to commercial radio, they'll tell you, pay before your news goes on. And these people don't have money to pay. So the only way to have their voice known is to take the guns and vandalize and then shoot. And, So they said, what do we do? And I came up with something. Let's look for how we can get development through media. And they said, how are you going to do that? Public service jingles? I said, that's colloquial. Let's look at something else. And this was exactly what we did. We decided to come up with a community radio theory. Now, community radio is actually an arm of radio broadcasting. We have state radio, which is owned by government. You have commercial radio, which is owned by enterprises. We have some of them here in Uyo, in Inspirations, the Planets, and all of that. We have the AKBC and NTA, which are the governments, Atlantic FM. But we have community radio. Incidentally, we don't have one, and we hope we'll have one somewhere in the state. Community radio is owned by the community, operated by the community, and for the community. No outsider. So when you come in, you tell us what we want to hear. You tell us what would benefit us.
Now, are they, it's a EU
It's an EU funded, yes.
Do you have any in Nigeria yet?
Yes, we have a couple of them. We set up 6 in the Niger Delta, and as I speak with you, the one I set up in Amasoma is operational.
So how come we don't have one in Akwa Ibom?
Well, it's something we're going to work on, and it's proposals that have to be put in. The window for funding probably might have elapsed, but we can write and find out how we can tap into that. It's actually meeting a need. If there is a need, is there any need? Like, for instance, I know of some communities within Uyo that have challenges of girl-child education and teenage pregnancy, even within Akwa Ibom State. If you put out such projects to the EU and say, look, you want to address this problem at community level, and you have issues of enterprise, young people don't want to work any longer, or they don't even know what to do. They believe the only way to get wealthy is government. And our economy doesn't help matters. Mono economy, oil. And to get the oil, you must be in government. And to be in government, you must play politics. So everybody looks in that mono direction. And without it, no jobs, no survival. So we're now looking at recession. And the present administration of His Excellency Governor Odomi Manuel is trying to bring about that industrialization in the state and to change the psyche of the young people, to make them earners of a living and not begging for a living. And if that must happen, you need to change the psyche of the youths. So if you must change that, you need a pattern. I think community radio could play a veritable role.
No, I think you are up to something here. In the audience, we have quite a few people who are entrepreneurs. It might not be big time. Most of them in this audience today are seamstress and tailors. How can community radio help to enhance what they are doing?
Great, wonderful. Community radio is a hydra-headed money spinner for the grassroots. I'll give you an example of what's happening in Amasoma. When we started the community radio, we trained people in broadcast technology. People from the community. We trained people who will be presenters. We trained people who will be marketers. We trained people who will carry out minor engineering procedures. We carried people who would be news reporters and people who would be presenters. Now, having done that, the station was running professionally, having been trained. Now, if you have seamstresses, for instance, like I see a number of them here, and maybe other artisans, you want to talk about how you can get more people into your trade. If you come to the community radio doesn't just broadcast and then people listen like the conventional radio. Community radio has a way of monitoring their audience by creating listener groups. So each listener group gives you a feedback mechanism. Oh, we listened to this program last week and we write, this is what we want to hear, or this is what we learned from it. Then the producers know how to tailor their programs based on the need of the people. Now, how does it empower the people? Every young person I see here, I don't know how many are employed or how many are here to get hope. But let me just say to you, if you are versed in media arts, the sky is your limit. Community radio or even conventional radio can give you money. Do you know that you can train somebody to be an audio technician, producing jingles and all of that? And with that knowledge, he produces jingles for schools. A young lad we trained some time ago on how to produce jingles, how to voice, how to script. In just 3 months, he learnt it. Goes to schools and says, I can do a jingle for you. And the last time I met him, he now has a shop. And then he put up a small sticker there. There is now an agent for one of the radio stations in the state. People go there to do obituaries. People go there to do captions.
How did he get the equipment, the camera? And the
Very simple. We have created a situation where when you get trained, let me also shock you. When we talk about equipment, some people feel you need one big equipment and all of that. Majority of our young people have laptops. They use it to watch films. They use it to play games. All you need is just a laptop. The extra thing you might need there is a software. We give you that software for free. We train you and you're good to go. Now, if you don't have a laptop or a system, we have a couple of systems there. And this was put together my personal initiative. I was recognized as a Dakar ambassador, and I felt, let me just use that aspect to really propagate the aspect of being a good citizen, an entrepreneur who is independent as part of my contribution to the Dakadaism, if you like. So what we did was just to make sure that we put systems there. So those that we have trained, even those who trained in video camera operations, we have cameras there. You get a job in a church, a wedding, or whatever, you come. Take a camera, go and shoot. Come back to that place, edit, buy your CD, burn it to the CD, and give to your client and collect your money.
Do you already have that infrastructure in Akwa?
It's not a government one, it's a private initiative, and I'm sure with this going on, we're having talks with the local government chairman of Uyo. We're also having talks with some other people across the state to see if they can replicate this.
So, but you already have one existing?
We have one existing in Uyo.
How much did it cost to set that up if you want to set it up in another local government, for instance?
For as little as about 300,000 naira, we'll be able to get everything in there. 6 systems, including the accommodation. So there's no rocket science in some of these things. It's about having the knowledge, having the leeway. And not just having the knowledge and the leeway, also having the willingness.
The community program, because it's one thing to create the content. You need the infrastructure to disseminate it.
Absolutely.
How much does that, or how long does it take to get you convinced to do a project like this?
It's all about doing your research, because the EU works on templates.
But you're already there. You're
yes,
already done the research.
Not just the EU alone. We also have many other donor agencies and funding agencies. They give you grants. You need to do research, which we have already done. For instance, the present research I'm working on right now in Uyo, I now discover that Uyo local government area, particularly Ikonibom clan in Uyo, has the lowest registration of girl-child education. Out of every 10 girls in any family, only 3 eventually go to secondary school and move on. The rest fall out.
And that's here in the capital city?
In the capital city of the land of promise. That is widely known as the land of uncommon transformation. Beautiful window, but something is wrong somewhere. So we are looking at how media can play a role in bringing about development there, changing the consciousness of the people, changing the psyche of the people, and bringing a better life for the people. That's what we're doing.
Well, Barrister, you've been a human resource consultant. Do you have any addition to what is
proposing?
Yes, I might not have an additional. That's the message I always preach about the society, the way things are, and the role we have to play. Now, gone are those days that we expect the government to do everything for us. It's time for us to brace up. Sit down, like what he said now. What we need is just to put on our thinking cap, assess the infrastructure, and then the potentials around us, and create that future we want to see. Now, if you're looking for something to fall down from the skies, or looking for an idea for someone to develop it for you, it might not be possible. But if you can look inward to what you can offer, you might not have gone to Harvard University, but somebody has already paved the way. He is here already. So I will expect us to really use the knowledge that our brother here has gained from his experience out there to build our own future. We can always refer to him anytime we need something. If you have an idea, you want to package anything, if it's something that he might not be able to handle, I'll be there. Like I'm basically preaching personal development. If it's something that he cannot handle, we can partner, and then we'll see how we can help you develop that idea that has been there. Now, I always advise you to stop looking around. It's okay for the government to do certain things for you, but if you know the potential that's in the inside of you, you will sit back and ask yourself, what are the things I need to develop this potential? By the time you're able to answer those questions, you're halfway to where you want to get to. So I might not have something to add towards the media, but I'll always preach the message of personal development. If you want to also help you package your business, fine. Perhaps after this show, if you permit, we can sit back and then analyze what exactly do you want to do? What package do you want to run? What do you want to offer to the society? Because the moment you discover that and you're able to package it, and you're able to package yourself, every need that you are going to solve is definitely going to put money into your hands. So gone are those days that we're looking around. No, this is time for us to look inward. I love what my brother said before the show started. The current economic situation of the country has actually forced us to jolt up and then begin to ask ourselves, how do we move forward from where we are? And now as if anybody is praying that things don't get better, but it's a time for us to look inwards. The future that we're expecting, the Nigeria want to see today, or the Akwa Ibom want to see today, is inside every one of us. We all have our roles to play. But if we do not discover those roles and begin to play them, we find out that there will always be lapses and we will keep complaining. But the person who keeps complaining is just someone that's postponing responsibility. And if you keep postponing responsibility, you're just going to be adding issues to your life. Except you sit back and say, okay, fine, I'm the one that's responsible for where I am now. I'm not responsible for what happens to me. Fine, it doesn't matter the kind of background you must have come from. Everybody came from one background or the other, whether good or not good. But you are the one who is responsible. I am the one responsible now for what I make out of my life. Opening a salon doesn't need you going to school. I don't think there's any academic qualification for you to become a hairdresser or a seamstress. It's just required for you to take a little training, and then you are off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with two very good people. One is a media expert, and one is a motivational speaker who is deep in human resource consulting. We have in our audience most people who are entrepreneurs, who are seamstresses, and who are tailors. So when we come back from a short break, we are going to think of how do we help them? How do we help them to develop this seamstress business and this tailoring, and how can we leverage media to get the word out for them? If you have any idea, if you have any question, please send us an SMS at 0902-300-7299. Ladies and gentlemen, you are on the podium of leadership.
The secret of making that house you dream home is in Reagan Home and Kitchen, a giant in importation, wholesale and retail of all kinds of foreign products, appliances and decor for your home, including fashion accessories. We stock amazing kitchen utensils of world-class standard. Let's thrill you with our state-of-the-art dining pieces, cutleries and lots more. That's not all. At Reagan Home and Kitchen, we guarantee impeccable service delivery. You can now landscape and beautify your field and surroundings with synthetic grass of your choice from Reagan Home and Kitchen. Visit us today at Oron Road by Odotumobo Junction, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. You can call us on 0802-338-3343, 0909 0744621. Our email reganistic@yahoo.com. Regan Home and Kitchen. Quality beyond imagination.
Tell me, how do we take a quiet home to the next level? How do I build this nation?
Do you want to see beyond your vision? Do you want to hear what other people think about leadership? Do you need a reshaping of your mindset and mentorship? Then tune in to the Podium of Leadership, the POL with Victor Udo, showing on AKBC Channel 45 every Monday by 12:30 p.m. and on NTA Channel 12 Uyo every Thursday by 10 p.m. Tune to the POL on Atlantic FM every Tuesday by 6:30 p.m. on Planet FM every Wednesday by 3 p.m. and on Inspiration FM every Saturday by 12:30 p.m. You can be a guest on this program. You can also advertise your product, goods and services, or sponsor the program by calling our office line 0902 300 7299. That is 0902 300 7299. Visit our website on www.thepol.com.ng. Like our page on facebook.com/The Podium of Leadership, or follow us on our Twitter handle at The Pol with Victor. The Podium of Leadership do show. Join us.
Welcome back to the Podium of Leadership. In our conversation today, we are talking about how to help small businesses, and particular emphasis on seamstresses and tailors, how to help them expand their businesses. We have human resource consultant specialists here. You know, sometimes people have little conflict, little misunderstanding. If you have even two people, two staff. So we have a human consultant here that can help you make sure your business is not just you alone. Because if you have people that work with you, it's going to be better. We also have someone here who's been outside who understands media. How do we leverage media to help you? So, first of all, we're going to give priority to the seamstresses and the tailors to ask these gentlemen any question that can make their businesses, as small as it is, much, much better. So once again, welcome to the Podium of Leadership. Okay. Shall we take questions from, first we start with anybody. Does anybody have any question for the people? Yes, I'm going to recognize them first. Yes, you.
Thank you very much, the media consultant. You made a lot of salient points concerning reaching out to communities, and you made a very, 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 very salient point when you talked about the level of girl-child education here in Uyo, a land of transformation. Now, the major problem we've had as a country and as a state is the problem of statistics and the problem of research. Most of us don't go into research, probably because of our jobs and our careers. Once we get ourselves engaged in our career, we forget about research. But I want to put it to you that a lot of research goes on informally in the tertiary institutions, in the universities. But the problem they've been having is how to apply this research. That's the application thereof. This research just ends in their project. Some just end in their bedroom. Some just put it down in writing. And they don't know the people to take this research to, the people to reach out to. For instance, the girl-child education you talked about is not the only problem facing us now. We also have the issue of child's rights. A lot of communities do not know the right of a child. A lot of mothers don't know that their children have rights, probably because this thing is encoded in English, or probably because this thing is written in a language that they do not understand. But I want to put it to you that their research is ongoing on how to translate this Child Rights Act into our local dialect. But the major problem we've been facing, the major obstacle has been sponsorship. The major obstacle has been, how do we get this thing to the grassroots? How do we get this thing to the community? But the community radio you're talking about now is actually a good medium through which this can actually get to the grassroots, through which this can actually get to the local woman in the community who actually has a child but does not know that.
How do we disseminate the available information?
Yes, how do we get it, and how do we get this community radio here in Akwa Ibom? Because we're actually working on translating the Child Rights Act into EBB language. But our major problem now is, how do we get this information to those in the grassroots, to those in the communities. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so very much. That's a very brilliant question. First of all, you talked about research. I must let you know that you're right, that there's several researches being carried out all over the place. But researches that are not documented is just like lighting a candle and keeping it right under the bushel. So most of those researches are not documented. I can tell you that if they are documented, funding agencies, even the international agencies, the UNDP, the UNICEF, UNIFEM, and all of that, they get these things from the net primarily before they come down to do deeper and remote research. So if these researches are done and are not documented...
Now, let me understand when you say documented. Do you mean...
They must be published.
Okay, published.
They must be published. And that, I think that answers the question. And after this, we'll have a dialogue with you and find out what you're planning to do. It's a very good one. We'll talk about how this community radio thing can come forth. You will partner with us because we're planning to put up a pioneer community radio station in a community here. Yes, I do know we have the University of Uyo in Heritage Polytechnic. Those are classified under community radio. But these are community radio in institutions. We're looking at community radio in communities proper. And that will really make...
What's the range of a typical
community radio? Well, by the statutes, your kilometer is not supposed to be beyond 2-3 kilowatts. And it must be in local language primarily, and maybe Pidgin and less of English.
What kind of money commitment are we talking about?
Well, I wouldn't be very specific now because of the exchange rates. It fluctuates so that one does not read my lips and gets bounced. But it's not very, very expensive. Right now we have digital transmitters that are just within the briefcase. You can transmit from a room. It's not like you come to the AKBC or the NTA.
42 kilometer?
Yes. If you have one, for instance, in Ikonibum, or maybe around Ikomiman axis, or maybe Ikoroku Ikono Junction, within the hospital arena and the whole of Ikonibum, you'll be reached very clearly. Of course, the NBC has statutes. And the good thing about community radio is that formally the NBC, in its statute, leaves the approval of radio licenses at the buck of the presidency. But the League of those championing for community radio, promotion had been able to champion so much to the extent that, and we're still fighting, that it has been removed to the Honorable Minister. So the Minister now can approve licenses for community radio, although we still have hurdles to go through. But we're hoping that that will be easier. Now, how community radio can also help, and not just community radio alone, other aspects of media will help other artisans. I was just trying to recall that just a few days ago, I decided to knock my neighbor's door. She packed in, and I said, I like meeting my neighbors. I can't live with a neighbor and I don't know whom she is. Sorry, I'd like to know, are you a new neighbor? And she said, yes, please, come in, sir. And the house was somehow unkept. And being a lady, I felt, no, let me stay outside. No, please, come in. She cleared some things. And I sat down. I saw a sewing machine. And I asked her, oh, are you a seamstress? She says, no, I'm not. I'm actually, I'm a cobbler. And when I looked down, she said, well, you would call it in local parlance shoemaker. But she makes shoes. She makes shoes, all these palms and all of that. She has all the gadgets there, except the filer. She goes out to file somewhere. And I looked at that, and I left the issue of coming to visit her. We talked about the shoes. 4,000 naira. If you order by tomorrow, I'll get you a nice palm. I have the materials. I saw soles, and I said, oh my goodness, what are you doing here? So I decided to take pictures of these things, record her on video, package a small thing, and put it on YouTube. Yesterday she called me and said, do you know I've had orders from people? I'm afraid. As of today, she has sold not less than 12 units from a Facebook page I created. And yours sincerely, if I wanted to collect commissions, I could also say, look, you charge 4,000, I'll make it 4,500, 500 for me. So the media can work. So you as an artisan there, even big organizations sadly don't have websites. Let me give a gift to Podium of Leadership today. Those who are here, organized professionals, I will build a website for you, free of charge. Whatever members belonging to your association, come with your business name and bring your products in photographs, hard or soft copy. We'll package it and put it up for you.
Can you partner with the president?
Yeah, that will be wonderful.
How long do you think it would take to build a Kista?
Yeah, it depends on the data. We need to build a database of your members and the inputs. But the framework of the website can be ready in just 2 weeks.
What will it cost them?
As I speak, I'm so passionate about what I'm seeing here. free of charge, we'll do that site for you.
And what I was saying is, okay, so in
the next 2 weeks, the site will be ready. The next 1 month, I want to have their inputs, and before you know it, in the next 1 month, you'll be on the World Wide Web. Seriously, I went round Uyo and I saw what tailors do. I never even knew that they had a collective body known as the Akis. Is it?
Mani told me that thing is that.
Great Akisa. Great. Looking good.
Great Akisa. Is that how good is that?
Great Akisa. Great. Looking good. Great Akisa.
And so came in here in the next 2 weeks. Website.
And you will be known globally.
And you'll be on the internet. Akisa is going to be on the internet.
I take the latter part of your motto. He said, looking good. You are going to look good because you really look good. And let the world know you're looking good. So the media can play very positive roles in developing you. And when you talk about there's no business, I don't get business. Let me even also shock you. I know somebody who learned this trade but never had one single machine because he didn't have money to buy those things. But thank God we have a leader in the state who has you people in mind. The EKIS program there has a kind of a hub. Go in there, use the machines. I don't know most of if you've logged into it. Use the machines. Maybe they'll pay some stipends, I don't know. But you come out and then have your job done. And you still make your income. And I can tell you the kind of income you make, you can even save to eventually have your own. So it's about you reaching out. And while you're trying to reach out with your wares, also struggle to get information across to you. While you're trying to get your own out. Because he that is not informed is deformed. You must build your capacities. I know tailors, right now, I asked somebody, what's the typical Akwa Ibom dress for the female? The Yoruba will tell you Iru and Buba. And then the Igbo person will tell you, there's a name they call it, that looks like Lolo. But in Akwa Ibom state here, maybe a consultant might tell me she's Igbo, but in Akwa Ibom state here, ask a typical young Akwa Ibom girl, what's the typical traditional dressing of an Akwa Ibomite, a lady? Tell her to go and dress up. She will come out looking like an Igbo woman, and if you ask her the name, she will just tell you Nkofongis in Kentana. So, digress, upgrade, be proactive, do those things, and let the world know. You'll see whites coming to tie our, what did you call it? That's what the media can do for you.
Let us say something.
My question goes to the media experts. Please, sir, you've said something about training people, because I would love to be one of your trainees, and I would love to know where you do the training. Thank you.
All right. It's very simple to answer your question. If you're in New York, it's easier for you. Somewhere in Biabong, you get the details. It's a free training. We train you on the media arts. 3. 1, you want to be a presenter, you want to be an independent producer, or you want to be a video cameraman. And it will be so wonderful because I don't see so many females in that trade here. It's in Lagos, I see photographers all over the place. Let me also shock you. A lady we trained in Port Harcourt, and she's from Akwa Ibom. I started this thing in Port Harcourt. She's from Akwa Ibom, and I took passionate interest in her. I said, look, you're from Akwa Ibom and you don't have anything doing, come and join this training. And she rose up and came, and I think the Dakada spirit was already in her then. She came, and when she came, she started learning this trade. She knew how to handle the camera. She could edit non-linear on the system. She could, do script writing. And before you knew it, she started an independent program on River State Television, social diary program like what we have in the BASSEY Olati Law Show and all of that. And one day when the governor, the former governor of River State then was in the function, she was just carrying her cameras around, and the security member, who is this one, move away. And she kept, until the governor said, come, who is that lady? And lo and behold, she introduced herself as, because she was 1 in a million. And before you knew it, she was co-opted. And before I knew it, she was now producing things for the state government. Her life had changed. So I wish you the same too.
Wow, this is good. Any other questions from this side? There's a guy in the corner.
Thank you very much, sir. I like your idea of hope. Because you've given Akwa Ibomites hope. Because to me, definition of hope is have other people empowered. So please, I want to know, do you do voiceovers? Because I attended a seminar last month, and I saw someone who said he does voiceover. He just says, "Welcome to Connect Nigeria," and he earns 100,000. Please, can you also train Akwa Ibomites on how to do voiceovers? Because someone like me, I'll be interested. I don't want to stress myself too much to have money. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. Then let me also shock you. Like I told you, I started my broadcast career here in Akwa Ibom State, particularly AKBC and later part in NTA. I used to have a very professional colleague, a senior colleague. He used to be called Benjamin Ekpeyong. He had a voice. Each time I was broke. Well, he's abroad. He's a consultant now. I told Benjamin Ekpeyong, please, how come you're always having money? They've not paid salary. Each time I need money, another person comes to you and asks you for money, you give. He said, I just did a voiceover. And when we listen to some commercials, even on network, even on other stations, you hear one baritone voice. Hello, welcome. And I said, Benjamin, I want to learn this thing. Now, you too can also get it. We do presentation, we do voice training, and all of that. Everybody has a capacity. There is no good voice and no bad voice. Christy Esianipoke has a croaky voice when she's talking. But when she sings, wonderful. She's Nigeria's lady of songs of blessed memory. Use your voice appropriately. Barry White has a very croaky bass voice. But he sings and everybody loves his voice. Somebody has a nightingale voice. And when she talks, you can hardly hear her. But when she goes soprano, you're like, wow. Now, you can raise to your greatness by identifying your potential. We'll train you. Voiceovers for commercials. I'm looking for, and while you were talking, your voice looks like a particular voice I'm looking for a commercial.
Then, my last question, as a barrister, because I'm a lawyer in the making, please, is there any way, because I don't know whether it's created in the Constitution, that they can enforce Chapter 2, fundamentals and directive principles of the government? Because I've never seen anybody charging government to court for not offering free education and all those things contained in Chapter 2. So are there ways that section of the Constitution can be implemented to better the lives of youth around Nigeria? Thank you so much.
Already, whatever is in the Constitution is your right as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I don't think there is any other need for you to agitate for those rights to be implemented. It's already there in the Constitution. If you want to challenge anyone, or if there's anyone that you feel is not properly being implemented, where you are concerned, you are free to voice your anger, or even take the federal government or whoever you want to court to court. But I would advise you that it's better on a place like this, in a podium of leadership like this, or in another informal gathering, that you can sit down and ask some questions. It's not always healthy for people to jump out and then take their leaders or take their nation to court and then start some process that they might not be able to continue with in the long run. Dialogue is always the best. So if you feel there's any section of the Constitution that has not been properly implemented, you can sit down with some group. I have a group that will sit down and discuss issues that have to do with the government. The lawyers will interpret the law for you. You will ask questions, we'll clarify some things, and then we'll now profile solutions on how to move the things forward. So you can visit one of these days and then we'll now discuss further. But like I said, there is no section of the Constitution that has not been implemented. The government is at the top of it. I want us to believe in our government.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very interesting program today. Being a do-show program, we've already gotten something done. And there's a commitment to create a website for them. And my resource person here, Mr. Charles BASSEY, gave a testimony of how someone was making shoes, was able to record it and put it on YouTube. So don't see why some of your special design clothing cannot be recorded and posted on a website. And as a matter of fact, he said in less than a month, the person was able to get 12 customers. So if we create that website, and I believe it's going to be done in the next 1 month, we're going to start seeing many of our clothes on the website. And we're going to probably see some traffic coming in there.
Absolutely.
He also talked about training people on voice and how they can make jingles. Now, when we come back, I want you guys to think about how you can make your businesses not just a one-person thing. Have you incorporated? You have a lawyer here that can think about incorporating. I would like to see one of these seamstress, one of these tailors become a big name, where you get your company, it's well registered, you have a brand name. People like this are going to help you package it and put it on the media. Out of the 25,000, if I can get 310 of you become big names in Nigeria, then the podium of leadership would have accomplished its intention. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to take more questions, especially the business part of being a seamstress and being a tailor. When will we have an Akwa Ibom mic becoming a seamstress, a tailor that is international repute? That's the kind of Dakada that your governor is talking about. When we come back, we'll take more questions with the tailors.
The secret of making that house you dream home is in Reagan Home and Kitchen. A giant in importation, wholesale and retail of all kinds of foreign products, appliances and decor for your home, including fashion accessories. We stock amazing kitchen utensils of world-class standard. Let's thrill you with our state-of-the-art dining pieces, cutleries and lots more. That's not all. At Reagan Home and Kitchen, we guarantee impeccable service delivery. You can now landscape and beautify your field and surroundings with synthetic grass of your choice from Reagan Home and Kitchen. Visit us today at Oron Road by Odotumobo Junction, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. You can call us on 0802-338-3343, 0909-074-4621. Our email reganistic@yahoo.com. Reagan Home and Kitchen. Quality beyond imagination.
Tell me, how do we take Akwa Ibom to the next level? How do I build this nation?
Do you want to see beyond your vision? Do you want to hear what other people think about leadership? Do you need a reshaping of your mindset and mentorship? Then tune in to the Podium of Leadership, the POL with Victor Udo, showing on AKBC Channel 45 every Monday by 12:30 p.m. and on NTA Channel 12 Uyo every Thursday by 10 p.m. Tune to the POL on Atlantic FM every Tuesday by 6:30 p.m. on Planet FM every Wednesday by 3 p.m. and on Inspiration FM every Saturday by 12:30 p.m. You can be a guest on this program. You can also advertise your product, goods and services, or sponsor the program by calling our office line 0902-300-7299. That is 0902-300-7299. Visit our website on www.thepol.com.ng. Like our page on facebook.com/The Podium of Leadership, or follow us on our Twitter handle at The Pol with Victor. The Podium of Leadership do show. Join us.
Welcome back to the Podium of Leadership. Well, my producer just told me we have only 8 minutes, and we really need to talk about the legal aspect, the human resource aspect of these seamstress and tailors. So we're going to take one question from a tailor, and we want to wrap up the issue of how we can leverage media. So let's take one question from this side. Yes, you.
I want to do business. The business that I wanted to do need my fellow colleagues to join together and do the business. So I myself, I know how to run the business, and then my colleagues, they don't understand the business. Please, I need you to enlighten me. Excellent. How are you going to?
Madam, while you're answering that, you can talk about the legal and the human resource aspect on how cooperative or partnership and how we can make 25,000 people in being seamstress, and that's a lot of people. Something should come out of it.
And the first thing I want to say is when you want to incorporate a business together with some group of people is to go into what we call a memorandum of understanding. You know, some people, when they want to start a business, some have the money, some have the capital, some have the goodwill, some have the technical know-how on how to drive a business. So if these people come together and then decide to package a business, what we're going to do is to prepare an MOU for you people that will encapsulate what each person is bringing in and the percentage or the level of participation, and then the input you're making is also going to determine the output you're going to be getting. Now, if someone is going to be investing into a business, like assuming you want to fund a cloth making business, and then you have maybe £1 million to invest. You might not have any, you might not even know anything about cloth making. All you need to do is just pool your resources there, get in an office, and then perhaps furnish the place. Then you're now going to bring in people who know how to make clothes. They're coming in with their expertise. Now, some people also know how to design, but they don't know how to sew. They are bringing in their own knowledge as well. Now, some people have goodwill. Some people, maybe by reason of their locality, they are already known. Maybe their father was a good, tailor or something. And over years, they've come to develop what we call goodwill. That whatever comes out from them will sell at any time, at any point. Some also have the knowledge, like my brother was talking about here. Some are so knowledgeable in maybe packaging the businesses and then putting them online. Now you find that almost like 5 different people, who have interest in the seamstress business, in the tailoring business, have come together. They are not bringing in exactly the same amount of input. The one who is bringing in the money is ready to do business and he wants to make money. So he's going to now, we're going to package that agreement for you to bring in the money, and then at a particular time, this is what you're going to be getting out at a particular duration of time from the investment you have made. The one who is bringing in the goodwill, we also have a percentage of the profit that the person is going to be making. The one who is bringing in the technical know-how is going to be going home with a particular percentage. By the time you begin to make a lot of profit, they will now review it again and then know how you can upgrade whatever the understanding encapsulated in the beginning. Now, there is no need for you to be competitive. It's a question of understanding. That's why I call it an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. This is something that you can sit back and discuss. Maybe sit down with a glass of juice or something, and then you stipulate them and they are well captioned. Each person's interest being properly represented, and then from there you drive the business.
Seamstresses and tailors, it's not enough to go alone. You guys can form some kind of collaboration. There's what is called synergy. And it doesn't have to be everybody putting everything together. If 5 or 3 or 2 of you can get together, go to see the lawyer. Because one of the things that happens here is when people get together, they fight. But if you have what is called memorandum of understanding and it's well articulated, you are going to bring this to the table, this person is bringing it to the table, and we sign, we go and execute. In the future, there will be no trouble, which is a problem that we have constantly. 2 people can't seem to work together. That's what the lawyers are there, not to go to court, to prevent you from going to court by having what she called memorandum of understanding. So if you guys have some people you like in the organization, maybe this one is in Eket, the other one is in Ikorebene, and you think there is some synergy, or there is a name in Ikorebene, or there is a name in Eket, get yourself together and go and see her. She has offered to help. Let's give it up to her again. One last question. Very quick, and it's going to go to Mr. Silas. Very quick.
All right, thank you very much. My question goes directly to the media personnel. It's understood and noticed that in some universities in Nigeria, precisely in the University of Uyo here, whom I happen to be a student of, we have some groups that handle the work of a media organization. Now, please, sir, how can you incorporate these groups into your firm by giving them more training on how to do more in their field of job and maybe deliver more to the society of the university community itself?
And especially the seamstress and tailors today.
All right, very quickly because of the time, I do know that the media industry is an industry so strong, and we are talking about the industrialization of the state. So I think we should leverage on that. Now, I realize that we have the mass communication department there. We have the communication arts in UNIO. You have the mass comm in Korosora. You have mass comm in Heritage. You have them in other places. Even the theater arts department, even the English department. Every department in the humanities and arts that have some, alignment to media. Some people may want to be there. But I can shock you, many people come out from the media schools in the universities and have never seen a microphone. So they're not even trainable. They're not even fitted anywhere. And if we have industries, like one of the groundbreakings we had some time ago was the setting up of direct communications in Abak, which the state government is trying to support to make sure that it takes off, so that we can have that industry also employing our people, who will now work there when we don't have the manpower. So what we're going to do is this. I'm glad you asked this question. I have targeted most of the students in these universities, in these tertiary schools, so that you can come, because you may not have had access to a camera one-on-one while in school. You may not have had access to microphones of various types, the boom mic, the cardon mic, and all of that. You may not have had access to non-linear machines to do editing. But if you are a student in any of these courses and you want to partake in boosting yourself such that even while in school you can start practicing gradually, And even when you graduate, you don't need to go into school and school again. You just fit in. We will welcome you. Come up with that platform. Let's partner. And
the last part of that, which is of my interest, is not just to train media experts to work for big corporations, but for the tailors and the seamsters.
Yes, as a matter of fact, even the tailors themselves, some component of media will help you also do your job very well. I don't know how many of you are aware that you on your own can get some media training on how to promote your own business. Because tailoring itself is an art. The aspect of advertising is an art. So if you can merge the two and get a leeway, you will discover that you will grow. Most of those big brands are no more striving. They're just sitting down and people are coming to franchise, get their names. So if you come to us also, we should also be able to see how we can give you those tidbits on how to put out your creativity in an advertorial form, such that it will also bring businesses to you.
So, Pastor, that's a lot of assignment. So he has offered to create a website for you. He has also offered to train you on how to make your products marketable. Because like one of you raised in our previous program, it's not just enough to wait for the person to come, the customer to come. You can start producing and keeping and selling. Like the lady that is doing the shoes. But even more so, you don't even have to do it. When you do, if you can package it very well, design it very well, capture it very well, it doesn't have to exist until someone places an order. So those are the kind of thing you can do when you have your general meeting, inviting, so they can come in and give you some insight and some training on how to do these things. We are not living on the 20th century. We are on the 21st century. So the tailor that sold for me in the village that I went to cry one day to Christmas, that's not the model anymore. The model we are living today is you put it on the internet, someone's child will tell his dad, this is what I want for Christmas. They will tell him one month before Christmas, and you will prepare it, and they would order it online. That's the era we are living. And most of you have data packages on your cell phones. You can browse internet on the cell phone. So we are moving on into the internet. As a matter of fact, our next program, we're going to be talking about digital money. So that's how far the world have moved away from when we used to use animal to trade. Now we are using bytes, computer programs, to sell and to make money. That's what we're going to be talking about in the next program when we are here together. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the much we have time to discuss and to talk about. Looking good. Thank you very, very much for being on the program. God bless you.
We have been waiting for, so let's arise and reason together to build a new and better Bible and greater Nigeria and Africa and land. That's what party of leadership is all about.